What's up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Profit Picks. If you are new, we do always start this show by being transparent. It feels like forever since we did a show. Um, so no show on the weekends, but I think I split one win on Saturday, a loss on Sunday. So nothing really crazy, but yeah, nothing really crazy. Last week was not the best. Hopefully this week can be better. Vino, good to be back with you. How's everything for you?
Yeah, college basketball things are wonderful. Ski, another winning weekend, 3-0 yesterday. NBA was good on Saturday and a bit lucky because I had the Laker Golden State game over 229, and I swear they had like 200 with 4 minutes left. But the um, the low end scrubs came through and scored a whole bunch of points at the end of that game and got to 230, which was nice. Yesterday, though, loser with the Denver team total over. Man, Denver looked sluggish yesterday against Minnesota, or maybe Minnesota just looked energetic. And another, I had two bad yesterday. The other one was trying to think off the top of my head. I don't know. I'd have to go back and check it. Oh, it was the Bucks. Oh my God, the Bucks game over. I got a lot to say about the Bucks today and our good friend Glenn. Yeah. Oh my God. I had that one in the bank and no such luck.
Well, let's see what we can get today. We have four games to talk about, not the best games at all, but we'll see if we can find some money. And we'll start with Houston and Washington. Um, this one opened up minus 15, still 15. Total open 224 and a half, sitting right around there. Injuries, we have Smith, Jabari Smith out, Tate out for Washington. Gill's questionable. Black, Davis, D'Lo, Sar, Trey Young, all out. Keyshawn George playing in this game, and for me, Vino, I'm really considering the dirty, filthy Wizards in this game. I mean, get having Keyshawn George, I know you can at least I can trust him to have some offense. I like Trey Johnson as well. I just don't think the Rockets are going to be that interested against Washington. The Rockets also haven't been great as a road favorite this year. Um, I think it's a chance to trust the Dirty Wizards at home here with all these points. What do you think?
Yeah, and the points just kind of keep getting bigger and bigger, right, Ski? So there becomes a point where you can kind of trust. And Washington did cover their last game against Toronto in this price range, getting 13 and a half, lose by 9. High scoring game. Again, ever since the post All Star break and maybe before, we've talked about a handful of these teams, 5 or 6 especially, that just don't care to win games. So it makes them hard to handicap. Do they want to come close? Do they not want to win at all? Do they want to get blown out? But Washington at least showed a little bit of fortitude in the Toronto game, 134, 125. And for Houston, it's the third of a 3-game road trip. They're going to get a couple of days off after this, go home, play Golden State. So I could see this being kind of a coast job for Houston, which does need to win. Standings would tell you that the Rockets would like to win this game. They're now in a tie with Minnesota. Actually, tiebreaker gives it to Houston, the 3 seed, but Minnesota's right there, 8.5 back with them. So you want to separate yourselves a little. It doesn't mean you have to win by 15. Jabari Smith, you just mentioned I think they're just trying to save him and get him ready for Golden State on Friday. So that in itself kind of tells you that maybe a little lackadaisical effort, maybe a 3-quarter effort, maybe a first half effort out of Houston, and then ride that wave all the way home. So I could see a Washington play here. These dogs are filthy, but at some point, 15 and a half, it just becomes too much to ignore. So I see some action coming in on Houston a little bit here in a couple of places, 14 and a half. So I won't bet it, but I would be with you. And I would almost think he just alerted me. I won't think. I was going to say,
Jalen
I almost
Brown
think
just got ruled out.
yeah, there was something funny about that line all day long. Somebody was going to be ruled out. He played 39 minutes last night. So, yeah, my thoughts on Washington is I was going to say something about the total, but I'll pull it back because I don't really want to play that total in particular just based on Houston defense. So probably look toward Washington, if anything.
How about this? I think that Houston's been on the road. It's their third straight road game.
Mhm.
Um, and then they have 2 days off and they get to go home.
Right.
This just feels like a spot where you don't get a
Sounds
really great effort from Houston. They just go
yeah.
through the motions. We can beat the Wizards, whatever, you know. I gotta bet the Wizards here today, Rob. I feel like I have to.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Like I said, it seems like a leisure spot for Houston. It's the third road game in a row. You get a couple off after this. It's like they're probably looking forward to just getting on the plane and getting
Yeah,
home. They don't have to play Golden State until Thursday. So, I mean, you don't have to do much to beat the Wizards because they don't want to win the game. So it's not like you have to go all out. They're going to allow you to win. But that's not to say you have to win by 16.
yeah. Meanwhile, the Wizards did not have to travel anywhere. You got some guys who can still score. Yeah, the Wizards are the play in this one.
And they showed some fight against Toronto. I mean, they played them under 10.
I
And I
like
think
it.
Toronto, for what it's worth, I think Toronto Ski, I'm thinking back just from my own handicapping, that Toronto has been one of the better defenses in the NBA post All-Star break. So to get 125 against them, you're doing something.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of that, I mean, what's the Wizards team total tonight? Let's see. Wizards team total 104 and a half, 105. I mean, if Rockets are not really even interested, I mean, that's definitely doable. They do have good defense, but definitely doable. I'll think about that. But I think I like the Wizards a little bit more. Um, any last thoughts, or we can keep it going?
No, I think for somebody who came here with no play on that game, I might have talked myself into something. There's a couple of ways to look at that one. We could
Yeah.
move on.
All right. Celtics and Bucks. This game continues to be on the move. Sorry, excuse me. Um, Opened up -7 for Boston. Is down to 2 or 2.5. And total went from 215.5 to 216.5 or 217.5. I mean, it's all over the place. It's moving. And it's really the injury report, right? So Giannis was upgraded to probable, expected to play today. And then the line went up to I think like 219. Now Jalen Brown is ruled out. Line comes crashing back down. Um, so that's kind of what we're seeing here. Both teams are on a back to back, right, Rob Veno? So did expect to see some injury news throughout the day. I mean, I think I think this is an under game. You have one Boston plays that way on back to backs anyway. I think 8 out of 10, um, and all six on the road have gone to the under on back to backs. Neither team playing with pace. I mean, if Giannis plays, yes, that'll increase the pace and help the offense. But Giannis has been out for so long, he'll very likely be on a minutes limit and very likely be rusty. Um, I think this is an under game. I'm not sure what to do with the side anymore since the number has moved so much and the injury report just keeps going crazy. But I think under. What do you think, Vino?
It just, yeah, came down again to 216. Listen, my thoughts here are just a shade different, not in regards to the full game total, but in regards to the Milwaukee team total, which is 106.5, especially off of what happened yesterday. You could almost predict where I would go with this. That second half and that fourth quarter were abysmal. I don't know. They go 2 for 21, Milwaukee does in the fourth quarter. 2 for 21, 1 of 13 from three. They get out rebounded 19-5. If you take 19-5, Ski, and just add it up for 4 quarters, that's being out rebounded 76-20. Well, what are we doing here with Milwaukee? It was such a great first half. 66 points, 89 after three, averaging 30 a quarter, and then the fourth quarter, complete fall apart. Um, it was kind of weird watching Doc Rivers let Kyle Kuzma play point guard as they just bricked and turned it over. I'm like, what? Kyle Kuzma's not your point guard. I don't know if he was eating his lunch, Glenn, or if he was watching the game, but it was kind of weird. Those types of things, and I've been playing Milwaukee overs anyway. If Giannis is on a minutes restriction, that's fine. One of the bigger keys for me now, especially, would be Jaylen Brown out, which takes away a lot of Boston wing defense. I know Derek White is still pretty good. They played a pretty tough game last night against Philadelphia. Philadelphia was in that thing, I think, 8 points down with like 5 to play, and Boston broke it open again one final time with a couple of threes. So I wouldn't be surprised. I guess you have to play Derek White, and he's one guy who plays every single game anyway, but he did play 38 minutes last night. Kata played out of his mind in that game last night, a double-double in the first half. He's out too. So it's kind of helpful from a Milwaukee offensive standpoint to have Jaylen Brown and Kata out of there. It really weakens the Boston defense and rebounding. So for me, in fact, I just missed the number because now the number went from 106.5 to 107.5 for their team total. But I do think Milwaukee probably could find their way to 108. They've been trending over for the most part as a team since post-All-Star break. And I would think even if Giannis goes 20 minutes now, he's probably going to be like, just give me the ball and let me get to the rim for my 20 minutes. So I'm going to try Milwaukee team total over 107.5. Like I said, I just missed a better number, 106.5.
All right. Me and Vino seeing this game a little bit differently. That's all right. We'll go to Nuggets and Jazz. Opened up 10, looks like 11.5 or 12. Total opened 241.5. Looks like 242.5 or 243. Injuries. Kevin Love and Markkinen out for Utah. For Denver, you have Jones questionable, Gordon and Johnson doubtful, Bates and Watson out. It looks like Denver is shorthanded here once again, but so is Utah. Um, Denver has been trying to play a little bit more defense lately, but I don't know. I feel like they've been playing so many games. At some point, it just wears on you. They're going to revert back to scoring, trying to just outscore their opponent to win the game. And the Jazz home game, you can absolutely light the scoreboard up. I lean towards over here. Maybe even Keontae George over his point prop. That's kind of appealing. Something like that. What do you think here, Vino?
Yeah, I think that, in the last couple of games, we saw Denver hold Boston to 103 or 84. Excuse me. They scored 103. And it was kind of a mirage. Thought maybe Denver's trying. And in fact, the head coach keeps saying that they're trying to play defense, David Adelman, and he keeps telling them defense is going to carry us. But again, yesterday, Minnesota kind of had their way offense. It's really simple with Denver. I mean, I watched them yesterday and I wondered if they were offended that we're keeping them awake by having to play an afternoon game because they were so sluggish in all aspects. And again, like I said earlier, maybe it's because Minnesota was energetic and Minnesota had the game plan. We're just going to run every chance we can get. We're going to run at you. We've never used walkers with tennis balls with Denver like we did with the Clippers, but they kind of look like, and Jokic had a big scoring game, but still didn't look all that engaged. Jamal Murray especially looked asleep in that game. So I think they bounced back here. They've lost their hold on a top 4 spot in the West. With that loss yesterday, they fall to number 5. You can't lose these types of games. They probably won't lose it. I don't trust them to cover it, no matter who Utah has on the floor, because Denver, I don't think, is going to go, balls out, so to speak, defensively in this game. And like you say, at home, these Utah games just wind up getting over the total. So the options here for me were to try and play Denver team total over or play full game over. They set Denver team totals so high. You almost need 130 to get there. They're asking for 127, above 127.5. So in that instance, I'd rather not exclude Utah from the equation, especially at home, and knowing that Utah's got the younger legs. They're not going to try to win, Skee. So if this thing is close in the fourth, I could see Utah just missing some shots, but I still think the better play is to play full game over.
We agree on that one. Last game on the slate, Clippers and Warriors. Opened up -1 for the Warriors. Flip of favorites here and down from 221 as low as 215.5. GP2 questionable. Seth and Steph Curry out. Will Richard out. Porzingis out. Collins questionable. Dunn questionable for the Clippers. Honestly, Vino, I don't have very much interest in this game at all. I'll ask you. I'll pass this one to you, but this is a complete pass for me.
Yeah, this one's going to be interesting because Darius Garland makes his debut here. So I have to watch. Obviously, you don't expect Darius Garland to light it up. He could, but he's been out for so long, you don't expect it. But I go back to what Ty Lue said when they acquired him, that they acquired him because they want to be a faster tempo team. For that reason, I need to watch tonight and just see if LA does pick up the tempo with him, whether or not they go over the number or stay under the number or whatever. I'm just interested to see if they get extra possessions in the time when Garland's on the floor, if they grab defensive rebounds and get out and run the way Ty Lue indicated they would. That's why they made this trade. So that's really where my interest level lies. Not so much in betting the game, but just seeing, because I think we could use it down the road here for a couple of weeks before others would catch on to LA just totally switching philosophies. But it's what Ty Lue said they wanted to do when they acquired him. So for now, until I see differently, I'm going to believe him and see if that's what we get tonight. If we don't get that, if we get slow pace Clippers, then obviously it might take time for them to work that and implement that into their system. But I'm going to watch it for that reason, Skee, just to see if Garland is somebody who ignites a faster pace or the pace that the head coach wants. Yeah, you got yourself muted.
My bad. I was saying he does like to play with pace, but I'll probably just watch and learn on this one here.
Mm-hmm.
That's the NBA card for today. So, and you know what? It is my fault I don't have the graphic for the promos, but I will mention before we do these best bets, they have buy 3 days, get 3 days free. So I believe that's $69. You get 6-day all access, every bet that, either Rob or myself makes. And on that note, I will pass it to you, Rob Veno. I'll ask you if there's anything else you'd like to promote. And if you have a best bet for the show, we'd love to hear it.
Yeah, I will say that is the top promotion out of WagerTalk for this week. I think there's another one that's a yearly subscription that they just sent out. But the 3 and get 3 days, buy 3 days, get 3 free is pretty, especially at this time of year, Skee, when these college basketball conference tournaments are coming. We got our first college basketball conference tournament game tonight out of the Horizon League. Most of these leagues are either finished or winding down within the next 4 or 5 days. And we're going to have just wall-to-wall action. So it's a pretty nice package. You get 6 days for the price of 3. Best bet, I didn't leave one on Friday. I hate doing that, but I do have one that I bet. We talked about it. We sort of disagreed on the outlook of the game, but I do think the Bucks find their way over 107.5. I scoured while we were talking, Skee, and I found myself a 106.5. I won't mention where I found it because we don't like to do this on this network, but I did find 106.5, a couple of them out there still. If you can find it, play it, but I'm going to use 107.5 to be fair to the chat here. Milwaukee Bucks team total over 107.5.
All right, good stuff from Veno. And you know what? Oh, I will mention that they have you can get the college basketball through the end, which I believe is April 6th for $219. And I'm 50 and 35 so far on the season in college basketball, if you would like to be involved. All right. For my best bet, it's not many times. So we'll go ahead and do this, Vino.
That's my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog. And anybody got to say anything, you let me know. That's my dog.
Yeah, tonight we are going with the dirty, stinking, filthy dog for our best bet, best bet of the day. And that's the Wizards plus 15.5. I mean, we talked about it. This is an absolute look over, sleepy spot, however you want to call it for the Rockets. Third straight road game, looking at the Washington Wizards on the other side, knowing you have 2 days off and get to go home after this. They just want to go home. They know they can win this game. They don't necessarily care about winning it by 15.5 points. And we have some offense on the other side. We've got Keyshawn George ruled in. We have a couple other guys that we can trust to get some buckets. So in this spot, for my best bet, I'll go with the dirty dog of the day, Wizards plus 15.5. What do you think about that, Vino?
When you put it up, I was just kind of holding my nose. I knew it was going to smell, so I held my nose. But I tell you, and again, and we've done this a couple of times, Skee, these plays, these spot plays, situational plays like the Wizards, they make so much sense. And all we're asking one of these filthy dogs to do is come through one time so we can have a little faith in you. But I don't see any reason why you would lay it with the Rockets here. Got to be the Wizards. And even as you pointed out, which would be more my style, would be Wizard team total over 105.5. Looks like that's a pretty decent way to go to.
Absolutely. So that'll wrap up the show. Quick and easy, 4 games, did it in about 21 minutes. So Vino, always appreciate you taking the time to cap the games, break them down with me, helps my process. Sure, we help everybody else out there at least a little bit. People in the chat, we do appreciate you all as well. I'm looking here. It looks like we do have a good amount of games for tomorrow. So we'll have a lot more to talk about. Till then, best of luck, everybody, on all your action, and we will catch you guys tomorrow.